Unlock the unlimited power and potential of a tax-free US LLC. Hello, my name is Javier Correa, and I'm the legal director here at the Rothbard Group. We're a boutique tax and business consultancy firm specializing in our two home markets, the United States of America and the Republic of Panama. I'm coming to you live from Costa del Este, the Brickell-type area within Panama City, the Miami of Latin America. And, you know, very often we have clients who dream of one thing. They dream of accessing the United States of America. They dream of selling into US markets, of expanding their business by tapping into that wonderful wealth generation engine that is the US economy and the US consumer market in particular. But they come to us and they say, Rothbard Group, Javier, I know it's challenging. I mean, I have to sell to US markets to grow my business, and I know I have to bite the bullet on tax. And you have to see the smile on their faces when I tell them, guess again, in many cases, if you're a foreign entrepreneur, we can structure your US business in such a way that potentially you may have the best of both worlds. You may have the US for all the good stuff, but you may avoid US tax liability entirely. And that is done through our secret weapon, the tax-free US LLC. Now, what the heck am I talking about? The American company that isn't taxed in the United States? Well, yes, it is 100% possible. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through some of the general ideas you have to keep in mind in order to make that happen. Now, if you tell this idea or you bring this concept forward to your local CPA, your local enrolled agent in the United States, in downtown Miami or in Little Rock, Arkansas, chances are in 99% of the cases he's gonna say, you are crazy, that's not gonna work. It really takes a tax professional that has international exposure and cross-border expertise like we do at the Rothbard Group to understand the subtleties of income sourcing rules, to understand how you can structure a business that sells into the United States, that is US for all the positive aspects, but avoids US tax liability in its entirety. So let's start by taking a 360-degree view of the situation. First of all, the people who can actually have US businesses and pay no US tax are people who are foreign entrepreneurs. That means this video is for people who are, number one, not US citizens, number two, not green card holders, and number three, people who do not live the majority of their time or of their year in the United States. In other words, people who do not meet the criteria to be US tax persons under the substantial presence test. If you do not trigger any one of those elements I just outlined, you are a non-resident alien for US tax purposes, a foreign entrepreneur for US tax purposes. Now, what is the benefit of having that classification of being a foreign entrepreneur for US tax purposes? Well, it's very simple. As a non-resident alien or foreign entrepreneur, you are only taxed in the United States on US source income. And if you have a US LLC and it's structured to be taxed as a partnership or as a disregarded entity, your company essentially passes income down to you. There are some differences between the multi-member tax as a partnership and the single-member disregarded entity, but globally speaking, the end result is the same. Income passes down to the owners of the business, to the members of the LLC, and it is their rules that apply in determining whether or not we have a taxable event in the United States. Now, let's go back to my earlier point. If you're a foreign entrepreneur, you only pay tax on US source income. Now, if you're running an active business, let's take a look at what that really entails. Let's say, number one, you're a service provider. Now, I'm talking to my engineers out there, my software developers, my architects. I'm talking to my foreign accountants. I'm talking to my foreign attorneys, colleagues of mine. I also happen to be a tax attorney licensed in Caracas, and I've also passed the enrolled agent exam in the United States. And I have a lot of people that I work with who are fellow attorneys who want to work with US clients, and they also often think that they have to pay some kind of US tax because they're selling their services to American clients through an American entity. But guess again, for services, right, the source of the income is determined by the location where the work is performed. So to simplify it, and again, this is not tax advice online, this is for educational purposes only. In order to have a specific assessment for your situation, you really need to contact the Rothbard Group or any other tax professional to make sure that your particular case is being analyzed. But generally speaking, if you're providing a service from outside the United States through a US LLC, but you're performing the service in a foreign jurisdiction, you will not have any tax liability in the US, even if your US LLC is banking in the US, if it's using US merchant accounts, if it's using a US mailing address, if it's accessing US credit, like US credit cards, debit cards, if it's accessing, for example, US rotating lines of credit, US business loans, all of that is fine. As long as the service is being provided from a foreign jurisdiction, like here in Panama City, Republic of Panama, then you will not be generating any US source income, and therefore your income, even if it flows through an American company, will be tax-free in the United States. Now, let's talk a sec about my drop shippers, about people who sell physical goods, who sell inventory into the United States. Now, their cases are a bit more complex. For example, in the case of merchants, right, people who, for example, buy inventory in country A and then sell it in country B, and let's say country B is the United States. Let's say you're buying wine in Argentina and you're selling that wine to American customers in the United States. Well, in that case, if the company is just practicing the business of international trade, for example, then it becomes much more nuanced. Then US sourcing rules revert to where the title of the goods actually passes to the buyer. So it is possible to generate foreign source income and therefore avoid US taxes, but we have to make sure that the title of the goods passes to the US buyer outside the United States. Now, it is more complex. I don't want to carry on with this example and get into a lot of legal technicalities. This is the kind of things that we go to in detail when we work with clients directly and when they hire us and when we look at the detail of each case. But just as a general overview, keep in mind that in the case of people who buy and sell inventory and who make money by essentially buying low and selling high, in your case, the United States will only tax you if the title of those goods that you are selling as inventory passes to the buyer within the United States. If title passes in a foreign jurisdiction, then you're good to go. No tax on the American side. And again, you can run your business through an American company with American banking, American merchant accounts, American mailing address, American financial infrastructure, and basically pay no tax in the United States of America. Now, let's say, to change the scenario a bit, that now you are a manufacturer or producer. Let's say that you're selling inventory, but you're making the inventory yourself. We've had clients in my lifetime, in my experience, that manufacture their own goods. And so they tell me, okay, Javier, what about my case? I'm not buying and selling. I'm making the products and I'm shipping them over to the United States. I'm like an exporter. Well, in your cases, it's more clear cut. What the United States will essentially look for is the place of production. Where does manufacturing and overall production take place? If the production of the goods is located in a foreign jurisdiction outside the United States, then in most cases, you will be able to sell your products into US markets without paying a single dime in American taxes. Now, all of this also has a lot of nuances. We also have to take into consideration that if you have a dependent agent in the United States, if you have an office in the United States that meets certain criteria, that foreign income may be reclassified as effectively connected income, ECI, a very technical term. Again, I don't want to bore you. That's why we're the tax professionals. We take care of all the technical stuff for you. But what I mean to say is these things can be complex. These things have to be looked at through different angles. There are a lot of variables, but know that if you are a service provider, if you are an Amazon FBA seller, if you are somebody who does drop shipping into the United States, if you're somebody who does business with American clients and who wants access to American financial infrastructure, and you are a foreign entrepreneur, so remember, very important, you're not a US citizen, you're not a green card holder, and you do not meet the criteria for the substantial presence test, know that the Rothbard Group can help you. And we've structured dozens and dozens, and at this point, I believe hundreds of tax-free LLCs for clients. I myself, as an international tax practitioner, have been working with the structuring of tax-free US LLCs for well over 6 years now. It is a proven method. It is a compliant method, but you have to know what you're doing. Now, the beauty of this is, By using this method, like I was mentioning before, you truly get the best of both worlds. On the one hand, you get that beautiful American image for your business. You get access to American banking. You have access to some of the world's best and most cost-effective financial service providers, meaning banking as well as merchant account service providers. You also have the ability to access the US credit market, which is a big deal. I believe there is no place like the United States for businesses that rely on credit or that want to access credit for growth, and definitely having that US LLC component is a huge difference maker when it comes to international business. And if you can combine all of those benefits that the US can offer while still remaining tax neutral, I don't know how we can make that deal even sweeter. Now, what makes the Rothbard Group stand out versus all of the people online that say they can structure your US LLC? Well, number one, our experience. We've worked with tons of clients from all over the world, Latin America, Western Europe, Canada, Australia, you name it. We've helped dozens and dozens, and again, at this point, I believe even hundreds of clients access the United States in a tax neutral or tax efficient manner. In addition to that, the fact that the Rothbard Group is strategically located in the middle ground between Panama and the United States gives us another layer. It allows us to combine the US LLC structure with a tax neutral Panamanian structure that we also know how to effectively use because it is our second home market. And together, by creating a dual Panama-US strategy, we have helped countless entrepreneurs achieve total tax neutrality, not only in the United States, but also in Panama. And by moving their tax residence and their business's tax residence to Panama, we effectively have helped a great deal of entrepreneurs achieve near complete tax neutrality in their global operations. Let me say that again. Near complete tax neutrality in their global operations, meaning hardly any tax due anywhere in the world by strategically combining the Republic of Panama and the United States of America. No other company does this. We strategically combine Panamanian corporations and tax-neutral US LLCs. We strategically combine Panama foundations and US LLCs. We know how to combine tax-neutral US trusts and Panamanian corporations. Nobody does it like we do. And if this seems like it's interesting, if you are that entrepreneur that is looking to expand their business into the United States and not pay a single dime in tax legally in a compliant form and doing things properly, then Rothbard Group is your ally. I can't wait to work with you, and I can't wait to empower you so that you access the US market without paying, again, a single dollar in taxes. So if you're ready to set up that tax-neutral US LLC for you, if you're in Canada, in Australia, in the UK, if you're a non-US person doing business globally, if you're a digital nomad, I'm eager to talk to you so we can set that up for you. So Rothbard Group is the place to go, www.rothbardgroup.com. We're waiting. Please check out our website. We'd be more than happy to work with you. And this, live from Panama City, was Javier Correa, the legal director of the Rothbard Group.